Okay, so this is the very first editing assignment that you're going to be doing in this class. It's going to be guiding you through step by step, and I'm going to be providing the videos and audio for you this time. So you will have exactly what you need to get this thing done, and it's just going to kind of lead you through the basics of Premiere. So starting off in the assignment, I'm going to need to begin by downloading the files. You should have already set up your computer in a previous assignment, so when you click download, right here, and it gives you many warnings because it's trying to make sure you're extra safe. You're going to click download anyway, and it should be asking you, where do you want to save this file? I want you to save it on your desktop. We're going to try to set up a folder for each of your big assignments, and we're going to make a new folder actually called tutorials. So on your desktop, make a new folder called tutorials. We're going to pop that in there, and we're going to go ahead and save. So that should not take a long time to download. There it is already for me. Perfect. So I've got the tutorials folder on my desktop. So we're going to try to keep this organized as best we can, and that will be hopefully just the first of many folders. So we're going to go ahead and open up Premiere. Again, if you did the set up your computer assignment, you should have already logged into Adobe, and hopefully you won't have any issues getting started with this one. Okay, this is what it's going to pop up with the first time you start it. We're going to go ahead and close this window, and this is kind of the home screen. We're going to start a new project, so click the blue New Project button. And up here is going to be the name of our project, and we're going to say Intro to PP. It's going to be the name of our project, and we're going to put it in that same folder we just made. So choose location. And that's going to go to, on your desktop, under tutorials. So we're going to keep it all together so that'll be organized and easy to find, because you're going to end up with a lot of projects. You want to keep track of them. So we're going to hit create, and this is what it's going to look like to start with. There's a few things I want you to do before you start editing, and that's going to be to go up here to this workspaces area and go down and hit show workspace tabs. So there's a lot of different workspaces that you can use in Premiere. What I did there is I clicked and I dragged it. So it's showing you all the different ways that you can start off. It's going to try to get you to go to learning, but I want you to switch to editing instead. That's what's going to be easiest for this tutorial. So this is like a blank canvas. Again, go down here, hit show the tabs, and then you can drag that out so you can see all the different kind of stuff. So this is a very basic beginning look to Premiere. There's nothing in it so far. So we're going to start by bringing in some media, and that's going to go down here in our project. And if I open up my file explorer that I pinned on my desktop and I go to tutorials, I've got this zip folder. If I make the icon a little bit bigger, you can see it's actually zipped up. And I can't put that into Premiere. That's not going to work. So a zip file is like a compressed, zipped up file, like it says, that only is useful for downloading a bunch of files at once. Because if I open that up, oh, there's all my files that I wanted. But right now, I need to get them out of there. So to uncompress them, to unzip them, I'm going to right-click on that, and I'm going to do Extract All. And it'll say, where do you want to put that? I want to put it in my tutorials folder. That sounds good. So now, inside the tutorial folder, I've got all my Intro to Premiere Pro Landry Run files. I'm going to go ahead and delete that zip file because we don't need that anymore. All right, so now I'm going to open up a folder here, and there's all my music and audio, video and audio files. So I'm going to click and drag to select all of those, click and drag, and bring them into Adobe. So now you've got some files in Adobe. You can see there's part 1 through 8 of the video, and there's one audio file. So this video is something that we shot for the Student News a long time ago, and it's a guy running to ask a girl to prom. So we're going to put all the parts together, and we're going to add some music, a little bit of text, but other than that, it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic editing here. So I'm using this as just an opportunity to kind of show you where different stuff, what different stuff looks like. So I'm going to click on one clip, and I can see There's Landry there. Landry was one of our student news anchors this year, and Landry is running to ask McKenna to prom. McKenna Schenk is the daughter of one of our coaches here, who's still here, and even though this was filmed, I think 7 or 8 years ago now, they're still together, so that's sweet. Okay, so we got our clip right there. You can kind of scrub through that and see all the different parts of the video. I'm gonna click and drag and bring it down here into my timeline, and that's gonna make our first timeline. So in a timeline, you've got all these different rows, which are layers, and you're gonna be able to take those and have different clips stacked on top of each other, different effects. This is the basics of how you're gonna edit in Premiere. So what I wanna do right now, and you can watch it and see what he says as you want, is I wanna cut out the sound when he starts running, because at this point, he starts talking for a little bit, and then he starts running and it gets real windy. And I do not want that. So what I'm gonna do real first, because if I select it right away, it's going to be showing me both, it's going to be selecting both the video and audio, but I only want to clip the audio in this part. So I'm going to right click on both of these and I'm going to do unlink. Now it will only do one at a time, and I can just go ahead and drag from the end, and that will get rid of all that noise. So after he starts running now, there will be no noise. And you can get a good amount of that, but you don't need to keep too much. We just want to show that he keeps running. The rest of the parts are pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna bring those in. You can see these little triangles at the end. That means that's the very end of the clip. That'll be important for when we start doing transitions. You can go ahead and bring in all the different clips. At this point, you do need to trim it down so it's under a minute. So right now you can see on the timeline how long this thing is. The whole finished thing should not be more than a minute. So go ahead and bring some of that in. Some of that stuff you may need to trim a little bit so it'll be shorter, because if you just drag and drop all the clips in there, it's gonna be way too long. I'm just gonna zoom through this real quickly to show you some examples. Okay, so down here at the end, he turns around and looks at the camera, and I'm gonna destroy that, I'm gonna eliminate that stuff, and that's gonna end with him just walking into the door now. Okay, and I wanna eventually get rid of all this audio of him running, but I do wanna keep the very last bit, which is when he starts breathing heavy. So I'm gonna go ahead and use another tool. This is our main tool, the selection tool, but I'm going to use another tool called the razor tool. And I'm going to use that and just make a little cut right there. So you can see that's where I want the audio to stay. Okay, so we've got a decent sequence right now of Landry running across campus going to ask this girl to prom. Now we're going to bring in some music. So this is the music for Landry Run. If I double click that, you can see the waveform. That's the sound file, and you can listen to that. Okay, this only has audio. You got video or audio only options if you drag those down in here. So I'm going to click and drag. You can also just click and drag from right here. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to click and drag from the preview window just to show you how that works. Okay, but I've still got that audio that is underneath, and I don't want that to stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the end of that audio back to that section that I just clipped, and I'm going to drag it up. So now I just replaced all that audio. All that audio from him running is gone. So as soon as he starts running, it's going to be replaced by that music. And that music will run through the entire thing until you get to this part when he starts talking a little bit again. So there's other ways we could have done that, but we're trying to keep it real simple this first time and not stress you out too much with all the different things that Premiere can do. So we're gonna keep it real simple. All right, last but not least, we've got some text that we're gonna add. So we are gonna put text at the beginning and end. And the first thing I wanna do is switch to my text tool, my type tool right here. I want you to put a box, so click and drag up here, and this is called the program monitor. And you're gonna put your name. Obviously, you're gonna not put the words your name, but you're gonna actually put your first and last name. So I know that you're the one that edited this. So to change the font and such, we're gonna go here to Effect Controls. And you need to make sure that under Effect Controls, we've selected the part where you said your name. If you select another text box, it will not change anything. So we're gonna go with the most annoying and ridiculous font combination I can think of. So we're gonna use Comic Sans. If you wanna use Comic Sans Bold for extra annoyingness, you can. So there you go. And here you can change a lot of different things. You can change like how close the font is together, how large it is, all different sort of stuff. Right now though, I want you to change it to make sure that I don't miss it, to make sure that it's obvious. We're gonna change the fill. So the fill on this is gonna be pink. So there's my color picker. I went into my fill, I just clicked that. Currently the fill is white. I want the fill to be pink, so I'm gonna bring my color picker down here. There you go, pink. So there you go. Again, make sure that you put your actual name and not the words your name. You'd think that was obvious, but you know, some people make that mistake every year. So there you go. At the beginning, you're gonna put your name, and then I want you to add one more thing at the end, and that's gonna be to be continued. So I'm gonna draw another text box, to be continued. This time I want you to choose a different font. There's lots of different fonts out there. I want you to choose a different one. And go ahead and choose another color while we're at it. So you can pick anything you want, just not Comic Sans for this last part. And make sure, if I look at my timeline now, I see my, my text is going on longer than my video. So I'm gonna drag that back so that the video and everything ends before 1 minute has passed. So I'm at 58 seconds right there. Now to turn it in. So we've done all the hard editing stuff, and now you're ready to turn it in. How do we do that? We're gonna go here to export. Actually, I'm gonna have you quick export, because that's simpler for this first time of doing it. And we're gonna make another new folder. It's gonna ask us, where do we wanna save this thing? I wanna save it in a new folder, and I'm calling that folder exports. So please go ahead and make a new folder called exports, and call it something besides part 1. If you just call it part 1, there's gonna be confusion because you will have a lot of different videos in the future and you wanna remember what this one was. So in exports, I'm saving this as intro to PP, and I'm gonna hit save. And there you go. All you gotta do is click export now. That won't take too long. And in Canvas, you're going to turn it in like this. Down here at the bottom, upload media, and your file is in your desktop under exports. There's my file, intro to PP. You can watch it if you want, and I'm gonna hit submit. And it's gonna take a few seconds to submit that to upload, but when it's done, it should be done. Oh. Okay, so now the video is going in and I can click submit assignment. And that's it. You just turned in your first assignment. Congratulations. Hope that wasn't too stressful.